Nikki Glenn, thank you. There's Jamie McLennan. There's Marty Biron. Halfway through the first period of Game 4, Dallas led the game 2-0. They led the series 2-1. They appeared to be in total control. The Edmonton Oilers then scored 8 unanswered goals over the next 3.5 periods to completely flip this series on its head. Now they're 1 win away from the Stanley Cup final. What happened to completely turn it?
Everybody connected. It's been clinical because you're right. That first 10 minutes against Dallas last game, it looked like it was going to be 8-0 Dallas because nothing was going right for the Edmonton Oilers. But instead of panicking, they were able to settle in and dig in. And it has been the leaders, it's been the support staff, it's been the goaltending, it's been the penalty kill, and now it's been the power play that has dominated the last, we'll call it 5 periods of hockey, and that's why they're 1 game away from the Stanley Cup Finals.
I feel though, even though there was some panic in some individuals' game, and there needed to be because all of a sudden you're struggling to get some momentum, there was also some great leadership. We saw Connor McDavid saying, hey, I'll take that question. I'll answer that. I'll show up. I'll be a difference maker. You had Darnell Nurse, who was being criticized, and it wasn't a long answered kind of press, in his stall there, but he could have gone the other way. He could have gone in a different way. No, let's go forward. Let's show leadership. Let's show, steps in our games, and it definitely made a difference. And they were able to not only win Game 4 in a conceiving way, in very, very strong fashion, they were able to follow that with Game 5 in Dallas, a very tough place to play, although Dallas hasn't had a lot of success at home, and the Oilers took advantage of it.
One of their best overall games of the playoffs, you would say, for the Oilers. So let's look at the elements of dominance that Noodles you outlined there, starting with special teams. The power play gets a couple. The PK's 25 for their last 24. That sounds like a championship formula, those two things.
It does, but you can come back to one word, determined, because their power play was getting shut down. They were getting some looks, but the goaltender was making the saves. They were forcing that extra pass. But on this particular night, the power play, it looked connected. They moved the puck quickly. They moved it with a purpose. And, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins wins a puck battle inside and chips it over Jake Ottinger. So they find the back of the net. The critical first goal, although teams have given up leads. And what a pass by Leon Draisaiti. Now, Chris Tanev, we know he's not playing at 100%, but that's a 3-on-2, a beautiful pass, and then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins off the post in. You knew that McDavid was probably going to win a game by himself. Stuart Skinner is going to have to be really good. But I thought the Edmonton Oilers' power play was going to have to be a difference maker in at least one game. It was in this one.
And when you look at the special teams, yes, power play is huge for the Edmonton Oilers, but their penalty kill has been so good. 11 for 11 in this series against the Dallas Stars. 2 for 2 in Game 4, 2 for 2 in Game 5 now, and big kills at very important moments. Late in the first period, it's 1-0 for the Oilers, and all of a sudden you take too many men on the ice penalty. You say, there's a mistake. Dallas is going to come through. No, you only gave up 4 shots on goal in the 2 power play opportunities, and most of those shots were from the outside. Really, really good job by the top 4 penalty killers for the Edmonton Oilers. Cody Ceci, Ekholm, Connor Brown, and Janmark. Those 4 had played over 2.5 minutes of penalty kill in this game out of the 4 minutes, and they were able to take away the Dallas Stars. So, this is where your star power players are going to have an impact on the power play. Yeah. You got to have the role players play good on the penalty kill, and those top 4 really did a massive job.
Lots more from these two ahead. We're starting to gather post-game reaction. Let's start with the captain, Connor McDavid, with Jackie Redmond.
Connor, congratulations on the victory. Leon this morning was singing the praises of Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He comes out, scores 2 goals, said he does everything for you guys. Doesn't always get the hype, though. What do you appreciate about him as a teammate?
Well, like you said, he does everything. He does everything for our group. Great on the kill. 2 big goals tonight. Plays a lot of minutes. We ask him to do a lot, and he always delivers.
Just goes about his business, hey? Great defensive effort from you guys today as well. Halfway through the game, just 7 shots on goal for Dallas. What can you say about the way the team played defensively?
I thought it was solid. We played a solid game all the way through. Whenever we had a breakdown, Stu was great for us. Made some big saves, especially coming down the stretch there. So, solid effort from everybody.
Stuart Skinner has really bounced back since being held out of the lineup in the last round. What can you say just about his bounce back appeal?
our group, that's something that we take a lot of pride in. Our group responds, and he's no different. Probably not the start of the series we wanted, last series, but he's been solid ever since, giving us a chance every single night.
Well, you go back to Edmonton, 1 win away from playing in the Stanley Cup final. What is the big takeaway from this game that you need to bring into game number 6?
Well, just more of the same, more of the same. I thought it was a great game. The last 2 have been really solid. We seem to have found a little bit of a recipe here, and we just got to keep it rolling.
All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Stars now on the brink. Here's Tyler Seguin.
So was it just special teams, or did it feel like it was more than that?
I think special teams are important. It's a bit of a weird game. I mean, it felt like the first period was almost 2 teams feeling each other out, and the reality of it was probably 2 teams and a lot of media with a lot of travel the last couple days. So game was there for us. We're on the same schedule, and we didn't get the job done.
You guys had a lack of shots on goal in the first 2 periods. What do you think has been kind of the trick to getting things through to the net?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know if there's a ton of shots in the game period. Kind of more of a neutral zone battle, 2 teams that have played each other a lot now. We just weren't as connected as we usually are tonight with, all 5 guys on the ice, and that's probably why there wasn't many shots.
What do you think allowed you to generate more in the third offensively?
Probably a little bit more desperation, probably a little more that we should have had to start the game and throughout the whole game.
Starts have kind of been an issue for you guys throughout the whole season and even in some of these playoff games. What do you think is the trick to having that urgency from the puck drop?
Yeah, we better have a next game in there. So,
Tyler, what has made the power play so hard to break through on?
I think there hasn't been that many power plays really this series. Maybe 9 going into tonight, and I think 5 were in the first game. So you can attribute a little bit of that to, maybe reps. But again, there's no excuses this time of the year. Sometimes the special teams need to win you a game, and theirs did tonight.
The resiliency has been something you guys have talked about often. Now you go to Game 6 there. Because you guys have done tough things before, how does that set you up to feel confident in what you have facing you now?
Yeah, excited. I mean, this is the fun part. What do you got to lose here? Heck of a challenge in front of you the whole season, going to that rink. We've taken pride in how we've been on the road all year, so let's do it.
What do you think of Tanev's performance?
I don't really isocam him, but he's a warrior, so that's the end of the story there.
How do you use that backs against the wall mentality to your advantage now?
Yeah, we're a team that responds. We're a resilient group. We have been all year, and we're a good road team, like I said. So put a smile on, move on from this game in 30 minutes, and play some cards in the plane tomorrow.
Thank you.
Not gambling, though. Just goldfish, There. Don't get in trouble.
At least Tyler's keeping it light after a big loss. They have to win 2 in a row now to get to the Stanley Cup final. He said they have a reputation of being resilient. I think Stuart Skinner is developing a reputation of resiliency in these playoffs. Gets pulled for those 2 games against Vancouver. States, I want to be back in there. Goes in for Game 6 and Game 7. Plays really well. They win the series. Gives up that bad goal in Game 3 that you documented. Comes out after the game, takes full responsibility, and has been excellent in the 2 games since. Are we just watching confidence blooming here with this goalie?
I think we are, and the way that you can see confidence, it's not just in the quantity of shots and saves that you make, but the quality of saves. And early in the game, there was a save on Lindell, and then a rebound on Seguin, and there was a save on Pavelski. You're looking back to Game 4, the save on Seguin as well, like on a rebound when it could have been 3-0. Having that mindset, right, that if you give up 1 or 2, you're not going to give up the 3rd goal, and that's so important for Stuart Skinner. There was a few really big saves in this game at 1-0 and 2-0 that makes a difference. And now you go from giving up 2 goals on 4 shots to making 18 straight saves in Game 4 and in Game 5 making 19 saves. It's not a lot. It's not 37, 38, 40 saves, but the quality is right there with Stuart Skinner.
We've seen a maturation process here in the last really calendar year of Stuart Skinner. His first round against LA, last year against Vegas, struggled, was lifted, was pulled 4 times in the playoffs last year. You just talked about against Vancouver, he gets taken out. And then he goes back in Game 7, 6 and 7, played very well. Now, the team played well in front of him. They responded. But When he gave up that fourth goal, Jason Robertson's hat-trick goal, we all sat here on the panel and said, this is a guy who flat out looked in the camera and said, I need to be better. I can't give up 4 if we're going to win this series on a nightly basis. So I like how he's just handled things maturely, calm, because guaranteed there's been some hairy moments for himself there.
Right.
You know, we know how loud it can get on social media. You can loud it is in the media, the fan base. And this guy has just continued to truck along. And I thought he's been fantastic the last 2 games, especially when they've needed him. You pointed out the big save at the right time.
If I told you before the playoffs that the Oilers were going to win the Stanley Cup and said who's going to be the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, you'd probably say 75% chance McDavid, 25% chance Draisaitl, probably nobody else in there. Is Evan Bouchard 2 more assists tonight, 25 points in the playoffs? Is he becoming a legitimate Conn Smythe candidate, knowing they still have to win this series in 1 more?
Okay, yes. We're not putting the cart before the horse, but let's say if they end up winning the Stanley Cup, you could argue and say, hey, no matter whatever happens, it's Connor McDavid's. But Leon Draisaitl has been absolutely brilliant in the playoffs, and so has Evan Bouchard. All the talk has been around, who's their number 1 defenseman? How is it, they focus on Darnell Nurse, and Darnell Nurse has been under fire. All Evan Bouchard has done this season, he puts up 82 points in the regular season. And yes, everyone's going to say, well, that's the power play. But 5-on-5, he's played tough minutes. Yes, Matthias Ekholm has been great for him as far as partnership. But we've seen, I just talked about Stuart Skinner and his maturation process. Evan Bouchard, in front of our eyes, has grown up into an absolute threat offensively, but a mature defenseman on the back end. He was defending in Game 7 with a minute left. Yeah. They had him on the ice defending. That's how good this guy's been. He deserves to be in that conversation.
I totally agree. He deserves to be in the conversation. He's not even a top 10 in odds right now for the Conn Smythe, so that's probably going to factor in tomorrow morning when you wake up, open your app. But the biggest thing with Evan Bouchard is the top defenseman in this league. The Kale McCarrs, Derek Carlson, right? Those guys, they give everybody confidence at the blue line. The guys you play with, they help you really find your game. Look at Philip Broberg in this game. He actually played less minutes than he did in Game 4, but he feels the confidence to go on the ice and produce and get a good goal. This is the 3rd goal, right? That's a very important goal for the Edmonton Oilers, especially how it got dicey with 3-1 late in the game. But this is an offensive zone draw where Chris Knoblauch says, okay, this is when I can put him on the ice, and let's see what happens. They win the draw, Kane to Enrique, back to Broberg, he gets the shot, he gets a goal. But that all comes from who else do you play with? And do you have the confidence to just go out there and play your game? And Evan Bouchard is allowing Philip Broberg to play his game in that moment.
Let's hear from the goal scorer, Philip Broberg.
Big win. How does it feel to score a goal in Stanley Cup playoffs?
No, obviously it was nice to get the goal, but more importantly, got a win.
How comfortable are you coming in here and playing, especially since you played a lot last year? Like, you look a lot more comfortable than someone who hasn't played a playoff game all year.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to play my game. Guys out there help me a lot, and I think I want to help the team win.
Philip, you take a shot from the point through some traffic. I don't know if you think it's going in, but when it does go in, what are you thinking? What happens?
No, I was just trying to get it on net, and it was nice to see it go in.
What does Ryan Nugent-Hopkins mean to this group in this room?
Say again,
What
sorry.
does Ryan Nugent-Hopkins mean to this group in this room? He's the longest serving. He's here for the tough times.
No, he means a lot. He's a veteran and he's a leader in this room, and he helps young guys like me, feel comfortable, and he's a great hockey player as well. So.
Phil, you had a shift in the first period where you bobbled the puck once or twice, and you went onto the bench, and Paul Coffey was there, talking you through some things, gave you a pat on the shoulder pads, and then you deliver in the second. Can you maybe share, maybe not exactly what he said, but what the tone of that conversation was like for you?
Yeah, no, I'm like I said, I'm trying to play my game, and I want to make plays out there, and make tape passes sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and you just gotta keep your head high and do your best out there.
What was it like waiting for your opportunity? I know there's times this year you're frustrated because you didn't get it, but waiting in the playoffs and trying to make the most of it when it did come.
Sorry.
What was it like waiting to get a chance to play?
No, obviously I want to get in, and it was nice to get in the lineup and get a feeling of the playoffs. So no, it was fun.
It's a stressful time of the year.
Now more from the captain, Connor McDavid.
Yeah, I thought it was a big win tonight. Everybody was solid. Right from the goalie out, I thought everybody played real well.
Ryan's been here a long time. We can just use here the tough times. What do you say about him and the night that he had?
Yeah, amazing. He gets asked to do so much on this team. Whether it's on the kill, big draws on the kill, or he's got a big responsibility on the power play. He's asked to do everything, and just always delivers. And tonight was big. He was awesome.
What do you like about how the power play attacked this game?
I thought the power play was better. And I said earlier that it needed to be a factor, and it certainly was today. I thought we got a little bit unlucky the other night, but found a way to contribute tonight.
Chris Knoblauch said that you guys were chasing that 60-minute full effort. Did you think today was as close as you got?
I thought it was as close as it's been in a long time. I thought right from start to finish we were dialed in, everything, details. A lot to like from time.
Can you just comment about Stu's play, particularly in the third there? He had some pretty big saves for you guys.
I thought he was great all night, but particularly in that late kill in the second. That was really big. And obviously coming down the stretch in the third, made some really big saves. We played pretty well in front of him. I thought there was a couple breakdowns here and there, but whenever there was, he delivered.
What's it going to take to finish this off at home in Game 6?
We'll take our best effort. It's 4 wins for a reason. It's tough to get any wins in the playoffs, let alone 4 against a team. So they're a great group over there. They're going to respond, and it's going to take our best effort.
Connor, you've been doing this for a while here. You're 1 home win away from getting to a Stanley Cup final. What's the next day and a half going to be like for you?
Pretty standard. Get ready to go again.
What's it like as a teammate of Phil Broberg to see him score?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, amazing. Obviously a big goal, but not only that, but skating everywhere. Skating pucks out of his zone. He could be a one-man breakout at times. And that's what he needs to do to be successful. His legs are a gift, and he's got to use them to. He's got to use them.
Does he look more confident to you?
Here's Dallas head coach Pete DeBoer.
Matt Duchene just described the offense as disjointed, and just what did you see? Is it something the Oilers are doing? Is it something that you guys aren't doing?
Yeah, you have to give them credit. I think they played. If you're going to drop a road game, that's pretty much what you want to do, right? You want to come out, get 2 power play goals early in the game, get the lead, and then defend well all night. So it's tough to crack through when you're down 2 or 3 goals. And I know I say that, and there's been big swings in this series, but I think as the games get deeper and stuff, I think those leads are tougher to overcome. So, a really good road game by them. They got 2 power play goals. They got a seeing eye goal off a draw. Goalie made some big saves when they needed to. That's a good formula to win on the road.
Front row on the right.
Hey, Pete. The players all season have talked about how you give them a good game plan to go out and execute and have success. You guys have had a couple of games this series where you come out pretty flat, not getting shots on goal. Is it a matter of execution, or is it something that the other team is doing really well?
Yeah, but you're at the end here. There's only 4 teams left. These are the best teams in the league. It's not gonna look pretty every night. You're not gonna come out firing shots and making plays and all kinds of room. And we're doing the same to them. They got a couple power play goals. They didn't have a ton of great looks either. It's muddy, tight hockey. There's not a lot of room there. And, you get to the end like this, you've got 2 really good teams that are really deep, and there's not a lot of room there. So it's not going to feel great a lot of the time for either team.
Front row left, Mike.
Hey, how did Tanev do, and how'd you like his game?
Yeah, I thought he gutted it out for us. He's obviously not 100%, but showed up, played, gutted it out for us, and did a great job for what he's dealing with.
Center right.
Pete, as much as you're praising the Oilers, did you not think it was kind of a lifeless second period for your team after falling behind and just kind of putting no pressure on them at all?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's always things you can do better. You know, I'm not, you know, you can sit here and question our character if you want. You haven't been around all year. I haven't seen you here all year. So, yeah, well, you are. That's what you're doing. So, you know, I'm not going to do it. You know, you go ahead and write whatever the you want.
Third row on the right, Eric.
Is it concerning that it's 2 games in a row now that the Oilers have controlled most of the play?
Yeah, I mean, tonight, like I said, perfect road game. They got the lead. You know, I think when you get a lead like that, and you know, it's easier to play. It's easier to defend. We didn't do enough, and they played a really good road game. You got to give them credit.
First of all, we apologize for the language. It's raw emotions that you see from a coach who was pretty calm there, I thought, for a few questions, but that last one set him off.
It hit a nerve, and, you know, a lot of times when you're driving at the same, like, a lot of those questions were kind of the exact same question, just phrased a little bit differently. Like, your team was lifeless. Right. You have a plan. You know, you look dead in the second period. What's going on there? And I think at some point the coach goes, all right, I'm going to not make this about my team. I'm going to make it about me. So we're going to be talking about it. He showed some frustration, but you could see right away he knew that he popped back into it. The Edmonton Oilers played a perfect road game, and he wanted to give them credit. And he's not going to take a shot at his own team where they're literally have their backs up against the wall. If anything, he's going to try and prop them up. Mm-hmm. So I don't mind that. Yes, language, everybody gets upset. But I think Pete DeBoer is going to go to battle for his team.
But you don't think that was, you know how sometimes coaches come out and it's usually, and are calculated, okay,
right, that was
not calculated.
That was raw emotion.
Provoked. Right. He felt like he was provoked, yes. Right? And that's why he responded that way. But I would suggest that doing the Darnell Nurse 3-word answer would probably be better in that situation, or the John Tortorella just being like very quick to the point would be better. But there's frustration there with Pete DeBoer. Here's the situation. Dallas in Game 3 brings back Roope Hintz. Jason Robertson has the hat trick. Right. Everything is good. In Game 4, Roope Hintz, 0 shots on goal. In Game 5, Hintz, Robertson, Ben, Duchesne, only 1 shot each. Joe Pavelski hasn't had a shot in 2 games.
Invisible, frankly.
Really, so that's where the frustration is. Yeah, Wyatt Johnson can score a goal. But, I mean, who else is joining the party here offensively for Dallas? That's where Pete DeBoer is frustrated right now.
Yeah, but Marty, I haven't seen you here all year. You're going to question their character?
I was watching Dallas all year.
Wait,
I could swear in French. That will pass.
No, don't do that.
Let's hear from the Oilers coach, Chris Knoblauch.
Chris, over here. You talked this morning about how Ryan's sometimes your favorite player. Sometimes you have other favorite players. Who is your favorite player tonight?
I actually saw Ryan tonight, and I told him tonight he's my favorite. So, 2 goals tonight, obviously on the power play, really big. Part of the penalty kill. He had a good game. A lot of guys had a good game.
Front row left, Derek.
Chris, did you sense this game coming? Because you guys, like you said, you played 52 good minutes the other night, and you wanted to put a 60-minute effort together. Do you sense this game coming in? Is this as close to a full team effort or 60-minute effort that you got tonight?
I think it was. We're never going to play a 60-minute game at this point of the season where you dominate and you're the better team. And it just doesn't happen. The other team just has too much to say, and they're a good team. But tonight, through the playoffs, this probably might have been our best 60-minute effort. And we're going to need more of that because, going back for Game 6, they're a very good team on the road. And, we've treated this game, same as last game, as a must-win game. And Game 6 will be a must-win game for us.
Second row on the right, Nick.
So Draisaitl and McDavid passed Coffey on the Oilers all-time list. So it's only Gretzky, Messier, Curry, Anderson ahead of them. In NHL history, only Gretzky and Lemieux have more points per game in the playoffs than they do. So my question is, just this time of year, to see them produce that way, what are we watching right now?
I can't answer that. It's remarkable is quite an understatement to say what they've done. It is harder to score in the NHL, especially nowadays, and for them to elevate their game in the playoffs when every game's so tight checking and then to produce like that, it's, as a coach, it's nice having those guys on your bench, being able to put them over the boards, not only with the expecting the, producing offense for the team, but also playing a really solid defensive game too.
Center on the right.
Stuart Skinner didn't face a lot of action for stretches of the game, but late in that second and then in the third, he made several big saves. Can you just kind of talk about his play tonight and, some of those big saves kind of early in the third where potentially could have turned a little bit?
Yeah, I think the biggest contribution he had tonight was on the penalty kill. Yes, there was a lot of big saves, and those big saves especially on the penalty kill, where they were able to get some really good looks, and Stu was just solid. He was square, he was quick. I think we win 3-1 tonight, and I think that's a little skewed. I don't think we were that much better tonight. I think just the fact that Stu made so many big saves tonight, gave us a little bit of cushion and made it look easier than it was for our team. But Stu obviously played a really good game.
Third row on the left.
Everything's coming up Knoblauch right now. I mean, I'm going to do it again. Cart, horse. There's 5 more wins for the Oilers to get, but if they get them, this will be one of the great in-season coaching changes in history, considering where they were when he came in.
Now think of the narrative when he first came in, okay? So a lot of people didn't know who Chris Knoblauch was. I guarantee you that first day people were, hockey DBing him. Now, he had a very good reputation in the National Hockey League. He was an up-and-coming head coach. But all of a sudden, you tie it together. Well, there's Connor McDavid's
just McDavid's buddy.
McDavid's buddy. And oh, by the way, Paul Coffey was sitting in the stands beside the owner. And all of a sudden, he comes down and is on the bench. This could have taken a left turn and been completely a disaster for the Edmonton Oilers all season long. It could have just been one of those years where it's like nothing worked for them. That change of the coach, Paul Coffey coming in, the stabilization. Obviously, we knew the players were better than they were showing, but they weren't playing that way. So it has been one of the greatest changes so far. Knoblauch, everything he's done so far, pressing buttons, there's been an answer, and it's been impressive this year.
Every time he talks about goaltending, he's learned all from me. Like, I did a little goalie coaching with the Erie Otters, right, when he was there, and Connor McDavid
was that the turning point of his career?
Square, depth. Like, he talks all about the really good structural thing. But the one thing, though, is this is why coaches get fired quickly in the NHL now. Craig Berube comes in. The St. Louis Blues are last in the NHL. They win the Stanley Cup. Mike Sullivan comes in Pittsburgh, wins 2 cups, right? Yeah. And he came in the season. Teams are not waiting around anymore. They see a team that's talented, that can go somewhere, and they just don't see the coach fitting. They change. And right now, the Oilers, they are adding into that.
With Nugent's goals tonight, the Oilers now have 4 20-point players. In the history of the NHL, every team with 4 20-point players in playoffs has gone to the Stanley Cup final, and the vast majority of them have won the Stanley Cup. Another massive victory. Let's follow the captain off the ice tonight as the Oilers take a 3-2 series lead and now have 2 cracks to get to their first Stanley Cup final since 2006, and the first ever Stanley Cup final for Draisaitl and McDavid, 1 win away.